good.
Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt? That's Exodus 3:11, and it's Moses' response to receiving one of the most profound callings recorded in Scripture. And honestly, this response makes sense to me. Moses had just murdered a man, and he fled Egypt where he went to Midian, where he lived as a shepherd. And one day, as he was tending the flocks, he saw a bush consumed by fire. If I saw this, I would be so confused. But this wasn't just any fire. No, this was the literal presence of God delivering a message straight to Moses. And in Exodus 3:9-10, God says, "Now the cry of the Israelites has reached me, and I have seen the way the Egyptians are oppressing them. So now go, I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt." And in this moment, in the middle of regret and shame in Moses' life, God lays out the entire plan. He tells him exactly where he's going, what he's going to do, and who he's going to speak to. And his one and only response is, "Who am I?" Moses was blinded by something in his life. He had a speech disability. And what I find so incredible is that God had just called a man with a speech impediment to go speak to one of the most powerful people in the world at that time. And all Moses can see is his weakness. This reminds me of a story when I was 8 years old. I got on the airplane for the very first time. Oh, I was excited. I had a window seat, so I went, sat down, and looked to my left, and it wasn't a window, but an emergency exit door. I was so disappointed. But the interesting thing about a window on an airplane is, yes, the window is small, but when you look out the window, you can see for miles and miles in every single direction. But if something is right in front of your eyes, you can't see a thing at all. I had the entire expanse of the world on the other side of that airplane, yet I couldn't see a single thing. And I kept asking, why can't I see? And this is exactly what was happening to Moses. He had his limitation right in front of his face. And it kept him from seeing the full plan that God had. And this is exactly what the enemy does in our lives today. He puts our problems, our insecurities, our doubts, our worries right in front of our eyes. And he tells us, if you can't see anything right now, then there was nothing to ever be seen in the first place. But can I tell you something today? Moses saw something else. And I hate to spoil the story if you don't know it, but Moses was successful. He led the Israelites out of Egypt, and he became one of the greatest leaders recorded in Scripture. So how did he do it? What did Moses see? Well, Hebrews 11:27 says, "By faith he left Egypt, not fearing the king's anger. He persevered because he saw him who is invisible." Notice, it doesn't say that God removed the problem. It doesn't even say that he started speaking perfectly fine. It says he saw him who is invisible. So this whole time, Moses is focused on what is right in front of him. His disability, right? But God wasn't calling him to see the plan. God was calling him to seek the one who gave him that plan. And what is so powerful about this story is the very question that Moses asked. He says, "God, who am I?" And God responds in Exodus 3:14, and he says, "I am who I am." So while Moses is focused on who am I, God is saying it was never about who you are, and it is always about who I am. Moses was a normal man. He had problems. He had something right in front of his eyes, just like me and you today sometimes. But God had a bigger plan than Moses could ever see. And the only reason he couldn't see it was because something was right in front of his eyes. So maybe there's some of you in this room today, and you are the exact same way. You have an obstacle in front of your eyes for way too long, and you have forgotten to look at God. Maybe it's anxiety, it's fear, it's depression, it's worry, it's something about your past, it's something that someone said about you. Maybe you've been asking God, who am I? But today God is here to remind you that it is not about who you are, and it is always about who He is. And let me tell you, you will never find who you are until you truly find who God is. So today, stop staring at the obstacles of your life. Lift up your eyes and seek the one who is invisible. Because when you seek the invisible God, you will finally stop being controlled by the invisible problems of this life. So today I'm going to leave you with a choice. Are you going to choose to look at the problems of this life, or are you going to seek He who is invisible?